I'm gonna start the video off like this. Mara deserves better. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. So, Family Matters, one of the longest reigning black television shows in TV history, made it 9 years, spearheaded by one of the most polarizing figures in TV history in Steve Urkel. Steve Urkel, known for the catchphrases that I do that, look what you did. I don't have to take this. I'm going home. And the patented Steve Urkel chuckle / laugh. Family Matters is a show that bridged the gap between the 80s and 90s, from the height of the Cosby Show to the popularity of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show. And Family Matters always was a show kind of in the middle between the two. And it was Steve Urkel that propelled Family Matters to be different from everyone else, because Family Matters had Steve Urkel. He was distinctly different from anything we've ever seen. He was like the black Revenge of the Nerds. He had commercials. He had cartoons. He did talk shows. He had apparel, memorabilia. He had suspenders, glasses, all that. With everything I just said, Steve Urkel has one of the worst characters in television history, because he had one of the worst story arcs in TV with him and Laura Winslow. Laura Winslow, at almost every turn, rejected Steve for who he was, how he walked, how he talked, how he acted, and it was cringy, man.
Are you out of your mind? This is a school assignment. It's pretend. We're not married. We're not engaged. We're not even dating, and we never will be. But I thought you. What I like is for you to leave me alone.
And yes, Steve was awkward. Yes, he was annoying. Yes, he was obsessive. He absolutely was, and should have left Laura alone. But even with that being said, he still was a good friend to Laura, and Laura, in a lot of times, did not appreciate Steve. In a lot of ways, she just did not appreciate Steve. She just did not. And what made things worse is, even though Steve would continuously just obsess over Laura, he had someone in Myra. Myra was bad, man. Oh my God, God rest her soul. She was bad. And she was his intellectual equal. She liked the same things as Steve. She accepted Steve for who he was and loved every inch of him. Pause. Yet Steve continued to pursue Laura. And I'm like, why? You got Myra.
But the truth of the matter is, there's always been a part of me, hidden deep in my heart, that could only think of Laura. So don't blame her. Blame me.
What you need Laura for? Like, what are we doing here, man? What you doing? Are you dumb? Like, what? Like, you are the smartest dumb person I've ever met. So much so that in one episode in season 5, Laura tore into Steve to where she literally told Steve, please stop being the way you are.
Steve, is there anything you can do to change yourself?
Well, why? I like myself. I'm comfortable with me.
Well, that makes one of us. Because I'm not comfortable with you. I've got 3 flavors of milkshake dripping down my leg. Steve, it would be nice if you tried to change. And it would be even nicer if you did it soon.
He will go on to create a cool elixir, which, looking back on it, may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's told Laura, I created jeans, cool jeans, and more cool jeans, to where if I take this cool elixir, I will be cool, right? And that's what he does. Now, not gonna hold you. The whole transformation from Steve Urkel to Stefan Urquelle, which Jaleel White may be one of the most underappreciated characters or actors of all time, because for him to play Steve the way he did, from the high-pitched voice to the walk to the talk, everything in between, to then play Stefan Urquelle, from the facial expressions to everything, like, Jaleel White deserves his flowers. Nobody else could have played Steve Urkel the way Jaleel did. And this episode is a highlight, probably for most people is the best episode of the series, because we got to see Jaleel play probably just himself, and just more suave, more confident, and just the white suit with the baby face playing in the background, and just the suave dancing he was doing. Like, bruh, this is for the cool. I ain't gonna hold you. That's a highlight for me of the entire series. This is for the cool. Like, man. But then they do tell a great story of Laura actually missing Steve, because Stefan Urquelle was arrogant and was too conceited, too full of himself.
I miss Steve Urkel.
Why?
Because he had feelings. He cared about people. Face it, Stefan. Numero uno on your list is you.
Can you blame me?
That's it. I want Steve back.
And so Stefan turns back to Steve. And for the next 2 years, Steve continues his Dexter Laboratories activities and creates a machine. This is insane. Creates a machine to where he could turn into Stefan again.
Stefan?
That's right, baby. I'm back. And you've got me.
This time, he can't keep Stefan that way. It's only for a short period of time that he can beat Stefan. So much so that Laura is upset.
I must be cursed. I finally find the perfect guy. Handsome, cool, and caring. I give him my heart, and what does he do? He leaves me.
So again, the biggest simp in the world, Steve Urkel, who has Myra, by the way, I just want to keep reiterating that, finds a way to clone himself. I'm going to say that again for people in the back. Finds a way to clone himself. Yes. And you know what he does with his clone? Let his clone be Stefan Urquelle. Yep. That's what he does. So, Stefan Urquelle dates Laura. This is the same show that talked about gang violence. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Same show. Somebody died due to gun violence. Yep. So then, eventually, Steve and Myra break up, and Urkel decides to become like a YMCA dancer or whatever. Starts to wear these weird outfits, and it's only then, in the middle of season 9, Laura says to herself, I think I'm starting to like Steve. Maxine, who is Laura's best friend, is like, nigga, what?
This explains it. Can cause brain damage.
By the way, the same season to where Harriet Winslow, the reason the show even was a thing, because it was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers. The same show decided, well, actually did not decide. Actually, the character, Joe Marie, that played Harriet, decided to leave the show because she was just done. And most of it is probably because Steve was becoming too much of the show. Literally everything revolved around Steve. It had nothing to do with the family. Harriet had a sister, and Rachel, gone, disappeared. Had a daughter, disappeared. Had a grandmother, gone. Like, this character just disappeared on the show. Then you have Harriet, who played a character for 9 years, decides to leave, and instead of writing her off, they replace her. It's like, what? You could have found a way to write her off? Like, I really y'all killed her off, then to replace her? But anyway, so we get to the end of season 9, to where Urkel asks Laura to marry her. She says yes. They rushed like 3 years of story into like 9 episodes, I swear for low. I just want to once again reiterate, Steve only got Laura because Steve changed who he was and started changing his outward appearance. So we have a show to where throughout the entirety of the show, a man who is one of the smartest men in the world created experiments to get with this girl only to be continuously rejected, and then changed his outfits, and finally after that got the girl of his dreams. I just want to point that out. And by the time we got to the end of the series, you know what these Negroes did, or whoever the writers were, you know what these did? Instead of giving us what you would think would be a wedding, you know what these guys did? They put Urkel in space. Yeah, they put Urkel in space, nigga. Like, what? He was able to create a teleportation device. I'm like, yet this nigga is sitting at home trying to figure out ways to get with his neighbor. He could have been curing cancer. Like, he had all these abilities and skills. This show is the best worst show of all time, bro. Like, I don't even know how else to explain it. I couldn't even, like, I don't even know what to label this. Like, I went from talking about Laura and Steve to the entire show as a whole. Like, I don't even know what to label this. It's just Family Matters, man. It's like, it's the best worst show of all time. Like, it's a rare condition in this day and age. Like, cause I'm black, y'all. Cause I'm black, y'all. Cause I'm black in the back and I'm black, y'all. I don't even, yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, share all things of the things. You ain't gotta go home, but you do gotta get the hell out of here. Peace.